Ryan coming to you live from Italia Stone, right here in the heart of Island Park. Italia Stone is awesome. If you want to build a new home, remodel your new home, they have only the best of the best. Let's give it up for Vincenzo and Italia Stone, ladies and gentlemen. What gracious hosts they've been. From the cappuccino, the cannolis, the espresso, all the treats. Italia Stone numero uno. Forget about it. But yesterday afternoon, I was on the boardwalk for a rally about New York Rising, and it was organized by Kevin Riley. There was a lot of people here because we started several months ago holding New York Rising, their feet to the fire, and we're going to continue. And we have a couple of voices that are really going to start us off tonight talking about New York Rising. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a nice round of applause for Kevin Riley. And Kevin, first of all, let's talk about, guys, let's talk about how the rally was started and what you feel was accomplished at yesterday's rally, and also about what's been going on with New York Rising.
Well, New York Rising has been around for 18 months, and in those 18 months, a lot of folks have had tremendous issues moving forward, becoming stalled by bureaucracy, and then even now, as the payments and the grant awards finally begin to come, we find that there are additional catastrophic problems. Yesterday was a little over 18 months since the program's inception, and myself and some other groups had been having a conversation about did we want to do some sort of rally for Sandy, and it's just seemed to be the appropriate time to kind of bring awareness that we're still out here, that there is still a tremendous amount of problems with this program. I can give you example after example. The first one that really struck me as being very problematic, that the program has known about for a very long time, is that when your grant is finally awarded, if you finally get that first half of your check, that's all you get. You only get that first 50% until you are completed, until all of the New York Rising paperwork is done, until you make all the agreements with everybody associated with it. You sign off, the town, the CEO, the CO. They've also made another, in an effort to help that, they let your municipality, who has control over the construction, sign off on what was actually completed. But even at that, that's far too late. It's 50% at the end of your work. What we want New York Rising to go back and fix this problem. Every single contractor on Long Island works with a series of progress payments. So when they start, they get a check. When they break ground, they get a check. When they lift the house or when they do your demolition, they get a check. And pretty quickly, those checks, those progress payments, they add up to well over 50%, long before the 50% of that grant award is going to come back to you. So what we want them to do is make a more realistic amount come from start to finish. We don't want 100%. Nobody wants you to hand over 100% check. Give me 50%, and then you've got inspectors. We want these folks to come in and say, you've completed X, Y, and Z. All right, now we're going to give you another check. Pay us for work we've completed. That goes for restoration work. If you're just going to do your repair work, it goes for elevation work. And more traumatically, I think, it is for the folks that are in the reconstruction program. That program is when the folks have lost an entire house and they're back to rebuild. This is a program that offers homeowners $160 a square foot. It's not Idaho. There are people in the program that say $160 a square foot is more than enough to rebuild a house. Well, perhaps if you're only going to build a shell, that $160 a square foot, I know everyone's heard this before, is not going to cover the foundation. On the south shore of Long Island, we have a very special kind of soil. A lot of it has been fill, a lot of it is old marshland that was back in the day created into property. Long Beach, Freeport, parts of Baldwin Harbor, they're all been basically man-made pieces of land. So now we have these folks in this reconstruction program. They're fighting to get this $160 a square foot done, and some folks are going to raid their insurance. They're going to raid their retirement. Maybe they'll take out home equity lines, credit, family, friends, however they can go ahead and get that money to get done. But some other folks, that's not an option. They have to try to go with that $160 a square foot and actually rebuild with what the money will allow. And the truly terrifying part of this is that according to the policy manual, if you rebuild smaller than the property that you had, for every square foot that you do not rebuild, the program removes $160. $160 doesn't sound like a lot, but if you started with, say, a 1,000 square foot home, not uncommon in Long Beach, in Island Park, a lot of them are only 800 square feet. But when you turn around and you say, you know what, I can't afford that, I'm going to actually remove one bedroom, one 10 by 10 bedroom. By not building that 10 by 10 bedroom, your grant award, that second half of your grant, has just been reduced by $16,000. That's $16,000 that chances are that homeowner had no idea that they were about to lose. That $16,000 and the building smaller and being penalized for it is probably something that the caseworker hasn't managed to mention to anyone. So we're trying to raise awareness that this program, all we're asking is that we get our grant award funded correctly, and we ask that the folks who are actually in the reconstruction program get what they're promised. Now, some folks are able to build larger, and that's not a problem. And some folks have taken the opportunity to do that. But it's unfortunate that some of the people who are the least capable of handling this are the ones who are being penalized the most. So that's pretty much what the rally was yesterday.
Okay. Excellent. You really made some great points. Bill